endoscopic resection for early Barrett's neoplasia was introduced more than 10 years ago, and it has been shown to be an effective and safe treatment approach with up to 5 years of follow-up. In contrast, radical esophageal resection, which was considered to be the gold standard for early Barrett's neoplasia for many years, is known to carry a relevant risk of morbidity and mortality. However, recurrences or metachronous neoplasia, so-called secondary lesions, in any remaining Barrett's segment are observed in up to a third of patients after endoscopic therapy of early Barrett's neoplasia. Thermal ablation of the residual Barrett's segment may lower the risk of secondary lesions compared with a non-ablation strategy. However, no randomized trial comparing thermal ablation of the residual Barrett's segment with surveillance alone has yet been reported. Manna et al. Evaluate the recurrence-free survival in patients undergoing Barrett's ablation by argon plasma coagulation, APC, with concomitant proton pump inhibitor treatment after endoscopic resection of early Barrett's neoplasia in comparison with patients undergoing surveillance only plus PPI therapy. They report the results in the paper entitled Ablation of Residual Barrett's Epithelium After Endoscopic Resection, a randomized long-term follow-up study of argon plasma coagulation versus surveillance APE study. Here is what they have to say. Background and study aim. It's commonly assumed that after ablation of any remaining Barrett's epithelium after endoscopic resection of early Barrett's neoplasia improves outcome by reducing the rate of metachronous lesions. But this has not yet been evaluated in a randomized trial. The aim of the study was to compare argon plasma coagulation, APC, with surveillance only for the management of residual Barrett's epithelium following endoscopic resection. Patients and methods. Patients in whom focal early Barrett's neoplasia, high-grade intraepithelial neoplasia, or mucosal cancer, had been curatively resected by endoscopy were randomly assigned to undergo ablation of the residual Barrett's segment by APC or surveillance only. pH-metry-adjusted proton pump inhibitor therapy was administered in both groups. The main outcome parameter was recurrence-free survival. Follow-up endoscopies with biopsies in cases of further residual Barrett's epithelium were carried out at 6-monthly intervals in both groups. Results. A total of 63 patients, 57 males, were included in the study. Ablation group 33, surveillance group 30. For complete Barrett's ablation, a mean number of 4 plus minus 1.6 APC sessions were required, range 2 to 7. The mean follow-up duration did not differ significantly between ablation, 28.2 plus minus 13.7 months, range 0 to 44, and surveillance patients, 24.7 plus minus 14.8 months, range 0 to 45, with a p-value of 0.159. The number of secondary lesions was 1 in the ablation group and 11 in the surveillance group, leading to significantly higher recurrence-free survival for the patients undergoing ablation. Conclusions. Thermal ablation of a residual Barrett's epithelium leads to a significant reduction in neoplasia recurrence rate compared with a surveillance strategy during a limited follow-up of 2 years. A longer follow-up duration may have led to a relatively higher rate of secondary neoplasia in both groups of patients.